for Black girl nerds.
Glad to be talking to you as well and talking about this project. This is very, very unique in that we are learning the story of these travels between John and Onion from Onion's vantage point. How does telling a story from the eyes of youth advance a story along, beginning with you, Joshua?
I think telling the story from the point of view of Onion kind of achieves James' goal when he was writing the book, I think, which is really adding humor to talk about such a dark subject and a heavy subject as slavery and as America's past. And I feel that it allows people to laugh at the story, cry with each other watching the series, and really allows people to come together as one and not be afraid anymore to talk about America's past mistakes.
I agree. Ethan, for you with John Brown's story, we don't get to see too many stories told from, or real comprehensive stories from an abolitionist point of view. We know that abolitionists were there as allies, but we don't get to spend we haven't spent a lot of time on those type of stories. What was the best part of this role and this journey that you go on with John Brown and Onion?
Well, the answer is really a part of the question. I mean, you know, we don't get a chance to talk very much about this period of history because it's so painful. It's so hurtful. And, you know, there's so much shame and guilt involved for the white community and so much anger, righteous anger. When you watch it's almost so painful you can't, your brain wants to turn it off. And one of the things why I think why John Brown's not really taught in school is to teach him, you really have to teach people about slavery. And it's very uncomfortable for parents to teach their children about something so horrible. Because one of the unfortunate things about being an actor is, you know, you really have to put yourself into the spirit of your characters. And the more you learn about slavery, the worse it is. I mean, it's so horrible. And the fact that it happened and so many people were complicit in a giant, massive crime, there's a reason why nobody wants to look at it, you know? But that not looking at it doesn't do anyone any good, and it doesn't help. It doesn't make it go away. You hear this expression all the time now about systemic racism, but this is the system. This is how the foundation, how cities were built, how they were zoned, how parts of society are allowed to go further and faster, and how others are handicapped. And if you don't see the sin on which the country was built, you can't really understand it. And I felt grateful to James for telling the story with so much humor and love. I mean, your first question to Joshua is a great one, because he leads by putting a boy in a dress, and all of a sudden you're talking about gender, and you thought you were talking about race, and you realize, oh, we're talking about humanity. You know, and we're talking about all of this at one time. And that's why I'm really grateful to him.
It's unique to have these opportunities to learn about, even though this is, it's fictional, but rooted in real characters. It's terrific to have this opportunity to re-examine these parts of our history in America and learn new things. Finally, Joshua, how much did you have to immerse yourself into the learning of this history before you started filming for this role?
Well, I was lucky in two ways. One being, my mom has always taught me a lot about my ancestors, my culture when it came to slavery, and make sure I'm very educated on that subject. And also, I had a really great history teacher for my 7th and 8th grade year who taught me so much about John Brown and the history of Harpers Ferry and Harriet Tubman and all those historical figures. And so I was lucky enough to have a lot of information pertaining to those subjects.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. An absolute pleasure, and looking forward to seeing the reactions to the series.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.